Hello and welcome to the Ghostly Bear Games video blog. We record our day-to-day meetings as we work on our first game, In Search of a Home. These are unscripted, lightly edited segments from meetings that cover engineering, production, and design. Let us know any topics or questions you might have in our Discord. Thanks for watching.
All right, so what did we need to cover today? Because it kind of got jumbled a little bit on.
Yeah, to get jumbled. I'm not really sure where we ended up after the morning meeting.
So I guess the first thing I would ask, so if we want replayability, especially like the starting stuff, as in that's in the next sprint, you had already written a fair amount on that about a month ago, and that's still in the doc. Do we
Yeah.
still want to progress in that basic way of we have the start phase, you start with like maybe your flagship, one or two other ships, and then you can collect other ships before jumping away the first time.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
really cool lore element that I like. I like the idea of like the disaster or the pressure is happening current and you're at the tail end of it and you've been chosen to lead a fleet and now you have to go around and convince people to join. It feels like it adds like an early game, which then transitions to the mid game, which eventually will transition to the late game of how you're specialized. The mid game is just like I'm using what I got. The early game is getting it to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it would be good if we just started with like just the flagship and the flagship's resources, and then we make you do like a few early jumps in system, and like from there you can choose. I mean, at its based form, you just choose from a list of ships that are in that system that are randomly like generated,
Yeah.
maybe like out of three or something like that, and then you pick, let's just say up to three now because we've been
Doing
doing this
four.
with four ships the entire time. And then you leave your home system and then you start on the long journey.
Yeah. Okay, so what's minimum viable to get in for this?
So minimum viable, we would need to have the ability to randomly generate, well, we could just
Without
have a
without
list
even
of
jumping, I'm
ships.
like, do you just at the start of the game, you have your flagship. We present them with a list of possible ships.
Yeah,
You get to pick.
Yep,
We
you
present
pick three.
we present like five, and you can pick three of them, or
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
we show what the costs are for doing so.
yeah.
yep. I think that's the MVP is that. Like the
Oh God,
ships,
retail
their
MV
abilities,
lab.
their captain,
And
and
faction.
their installations, and
Yep.
their faction. Any resources that they come with or cost,
True.
and then that's it.
Yeah.
You just pick three, and then you can go.
And
I think that's
actually,
like
a
an
way we
MVP.
could, yeah, I
The MV,
guess.
so I guess in its base form, the MVP is a list of five ships. You choose three. The ships have to show their captain, their faction, the installations on them,
Any abilities like ship abilities, special ship abilities they might
special
have.
ship abilities, population,
Yeah.
like the number of people on them.
Just general like, yeah, probably population and any resources they would come with them.
Yeah.
May I make one small suggestion? Also, we should only show these ships one at a time so that you don't know what else is coming down the line. So you have to make decisions. Like
Oh, that would be really funny.
you get one and you say yes or no. Then you get the next one, yes or no. And then basically once you get to the point where there's only it'll just say, if you only have three choices left, then and you need three more ships because you said no, then
What if
here's
it's
the
just
three you get.
presented?
Either that,
Oh, how
or
much?
this. How
This is
about
the thing. How
why don't
much
we start?
data
Why
could
don't
you
we start
have?
with 8 starting fuel, but every time you get a presentation of a and every or better yet, we'll say 12 starting fuel, right, or 11. I don't know which one. I'm mathing it. And then if you have to spend one fuel to go to see another ship to get, and then spend one more fuel to see the next. It's like basically I'm giving up fuel to get a new roll of a ship, but I don't know what's coming down the pipe. So I have to kind of just pick and choose and see where it goes. Like I really like that idea. Yeah, I don't even think you need to generate the list up front. I think this could be literally endless until
Just
you run out
grant
of
you game over
like,
before you leave your home
or we should say
system.
like you can only go to a minimum of 4 fuel or something,
Yeah.
or I don't know, something like that. That actually I wouldn't mind if we just said, okay, do whatever you want. The first jump is free.
Yeah.
How much fuel did you waste getting there?
Yeah. I think there's just a limit to ships, really. We just say that you can select, you get 3 ships.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you
So
should get
once you
more ships.
once you've selected, we just give them a certain number of rolls. It's fine. I don't want to limit. I think I want to teach them right off the bat. It's like, hey, you're going to use fuel to jump. So you're going to get 4 ships. Once you're at 4 fuel, you can't get any more. You got to jump away.
Yeah,
And you could
yeah.
jump to a place that you have no way of getting fuel to make your second jump. Good job.
Do you well, we'll figure something out. Probably the
No,
fuel
this is
factory
really
will be on the
funny.
flagship.
It would be hilarious. It's a fine
Actually,
game. If it ends there, fine. Like, how much time have you actually wasted? Not that much.
that's true. That's true. Anyway, I think okay, we don't have to solve it here. One of us, whoever implements it, will come up with a good solution. It's fine.
I don't think
Um,
that part is hard to do. I think to make it more compelling long term, we're gonna have to add some more content.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, some more ship types, some more just base abilities on ships. Because I don't think we have enough to generate that many crazy variations of ships right now.
Yeah, we
there's
would
not
have to.
very
It would
much.
be a part of the content push for that sprint for sure.
Yeah.
We'd have to create more installations, more unique ship abilities. I mean, at this point, I mean, maybe create captain abilities,
Captain abilities would be awesome.
faction abilities. No,
Yep.
well,
No,
not
oh, I
necessarily tied to
definitely
the
think
ship,
so.
but I
Or
mean,
it
like,
could be passive.
no, I know, but like factions themselves shouldn't be about like the ship so much as the fleet, right? That was
Yeah.
our
Mhm.
just our
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll make faction abilities at some point, but I mean, for the replayability part, we don't need to tie them to it,
Yeah.
other than they just have a faction.
They have a
Mhm.
faction. And then, yeah, like they could bring resources in at the
Yeah,
start. So you could be like, yeah, I spent some fuel, but yeah, there's not a whole big reason, but I'm really going to bring that freighter that's full of fuel along with me. Like, doesn't do a whole
Yeah.
lot of else, but I do like the fact that it has 12 fuel on it. That's cool.
Yep. Yep. I think that's a good idea.
I can repurpose
Okay,
it later.
awesome.
So I think
We
we're all
solved it.
aligned
Yeah.
there, and it'll be okay for MVP.
Yep. I think we said something
There
else.
was
I
some
can't.
stuff that Carl was also wanting to discuss on, and he's not here, so I'd actually prefer him to be here for the like population screen stuff.
yeah. Instead of us guessing it.
I'm not gonna guess,
Oh
but
yeah.
one simple thing I'm probably just going to add in our little bit of a polish state is, yeah, your population's gonna go down between jumps. It's just gonna happen,
Mhm.
and I kind of feel like it would just be right now, as you're in system, there's a behind the scenes number that's just being tracked of like, hey, this is what population loss is going to be. If you're starving, it's that number is bumped even higher. The longer you stay there, that gets bigger. Like just a number of things. So
Mhm.
that when you hit that jump screen, your population's going to decrease by a noticeable amount of being like, oh, my population goes down. This is bad. I should like keep going, and hopefully I have
I
people
kind of
left.
wanted to ask what you guys feel about changing the time scale from a second being 10 minutes to a second being an hour. So that, and the
It's
reason
fine.
why I say that is because it feels unrealistic that starvation would start killing people after like it would take several days before starvation starts actually
Yeah.
killing people, or more, probably actually a lot more than several days. And so it's like when a second is 10 minutes, it means like that's like 20 minutes of game time to realistically actually start
Yeah.
killing people from
And that's
starvation.
actually trivial to change. Like
Okay.
I had already hooked. Like the reason it's even 10 minutes now is I just put the functionality into the display timer, that
Okay.
just decides how it's going to display how time passing at whatever intervals, without having us
Perfect.
having to change our cooldowns or anything like that. Like it's purely just a to the user display. So if we wanted to
Okay.
tick it up to an hour, we totally can. An hour, that thing will tick by very quickly.
Which is
Click,
good,
click,
I
click,
think.
click, click.
I think that would be a good thing because then it's
Yeah.
saying, I mean, you know, you're spending 3 days in a system. That's
Yeah.
a long time, right?
Yeah.
Whereas right now in our game, if you spend this equivalent amount,
If
it's
you
like,
spend a
I
day,
don't know,
you're
it's
like,
like
oh my god, I've been
18
here.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It'll
it's
make
like
more sense for a time scale, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just makes more
nobody would
sense.
care about spending 18 hours, yet
Yep, just
18
change it.
hours in our game is like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this actually brings up, I love this, the UI bring up another question. So the places that we have like cooldown, like timers going on the side, should they be
Hmm.
displaying seconds or should they be showing theme to in-game time?
In go.
So like if
Well,
it
if
said
they
if
are,
they're now, if we go to hours, we could actually just put an H after the number and
yeah,
say that's how many hours left until that's ready.
yep,
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean,
I
if an
think
hour
that
is a
It was
second,
it was a
no player,
weird thing
it
when it was
works.
10 minutes. I was like, I get it. I want to see cooldowns, but it's kind of
It'll be better
they're not
to
in my the time scale that the game
right
like they're in my
because right now you don't
player's
get a sense
mind.
of the time scale. You
Yeah.
don't get any sense of the time scale that's actually passing. Where if you were looking at your cooldowns actively, I chose this and it's going to take this long, and I get
Yeah.
to watch that. You get an idea of how fast time is passing.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. I think we should
But
just
if we
change
go
it
to
out.
hour, and then we can just say, well, those are all seconds, so we can just put an H at the end of when
Yep.
it's binding
Yep.
the
Yep.
value.
It'll look weird in the circle, and I don't care.
Yeah, we
Okay,
shouldn't care right now.
No,
I put I put that in the task as well.
As a player, I manage ship captains' specialties and personalities to be able to make game decisions.
Yeah, I don't think.
What does that even really mean right now?
I think that's ship captains having abilities, and you can a fire emblem support conversation it to like get bonuses
Oh,
and things like that. But honestly, looking at the rest of the systems, I have no idea how we would prioritize that.
I'm going to look at the updates. Is there a...
I mean, I guess we can prioritize like ship captains having an action
Yeah.
or like a passive so that it's a part of it can feed into the drafting part of the system at the very least. And so you start to like,
Yeah.
get interest in who those things are. But I think the relationship system is not, I mean,
No.
I don't see that
That's not going
happen.
to... Because I feel like that is on the sprint board, there's the dignitary update.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
where that would be. That would be where you build out the big supports and like
Yep.
Whoa.
not
Sorry
just
about
not just captains are like the only persona. Like there are other personas potentially in the fleet.
Yep.
Like
So for now, let's
Spies.
make captains like, let's just say that we'll do it as a part of like abilities for ships, abilities and passives
yeah.
to differentiate them as like another feature of them.
So,
Because
okay.
I think it lines up with what other stuff we're doing. And then I guess there's an interesting thing there where we can double down on captain and faction at the same time, where captains have a faction. If that faction is negative, uh, in a negative relationship with you, you can't use their ability anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
for
Okay.
sure. Or like it goes from a positive bonus to a negative bonus.
hmm
I
Yeah.
mean, a negative penalty. Whoops.
Yeah.